Time now to take a look at the day's business news with Stephen Carroll. Stephen, we're going to start with Greece, where former Finance Minister Yanis Varoufakis is still continuing to make waves.
Yeah, that's right. Mr Varoufakis, of course, quit the Finance Ministry after the Greek voters rejected the package of economic reforms in a referendum earlier this month. But in a phone conference with investors 2 weeks ago, he revealed that he'd been working on a secret plan B for the country if the banks were shut down. It involved hacking into the database of taxpayers in Greece and creating a parallel payment system. William Hildebrandt has the details.
Even before Syriza swept to power in January, Alexis Tsipras told Yanis Varoufakis to prepare a plan B, a way to create liquidity in case a European Central Bank cut off emergency funding to Greek lenders. That's a claim of the former finance minister.
So we decided to hack into my minister's own software program in order to be able to bring it all to just copy the code of the tax system's website.
The hack gave Varoufakis' secret five-man team the reserve accounts and file numbers of every Greek taxpayer. Greece's tax office was then under the control of international creditors. The goal was to create a way for the finance ministry to make digital transfers, an IOU payment system based on an experiment by California after the Lehman banking crisis.
That would have created a parallel banking system while the banks were shut as a result of the ECB's aggressive action to give us some breathing space.
Syriza had accused the ECB of financial strangulation. Varoufakis said his parallel banking system would have been based on the euro, but had Greece exited the eurozone, at the drop of a hat, it could have been converted to the country's former currency, the drachma.
OK, well, what's happening on the market so far, Stephen?
European shares starting the day in positive territory today, better than the picture we saw at the close yesterday, when it all closed down pretty sharply, particularly Paris and Frankfurt being badly affected by some concerns over China, we'll get on to in a moment. Here in France, shares in the telecoms firm Orange up 2.7% after their results. Not doing so well, though, today is the tyre company Michelin. Their shares down 4%. Their investors not too pleased with the latest set of figures from then. Over in Asia, things a little bit calmer after yesterday's dramatic fall when Shanghai was down over 8%, its biggest day slump since 2007. The Shanghai Composite Index has yo-yoed a bit around today during trading. It started down 4%, was down 1% at the break. It's now down around 1.5%. We are seeing some recovery, though, in Hong Kong. The Hang Seng Index there up by almost 1%. Of course, that focus being on the Chinese markets today after the dramatic falls. For more on this, we spoke earlier to our correspondent in Beijing, Shane Bigham.
There are some systemic issues in these markets that need to be addressed. And when the market suddenly turns sour, you have a lot of investors who seem to panic. So, I mean, I was talking to an analyst this morning who told me that a lot of work needs to be done in order to shore things up. The markets have responded to government stimulus and everything, but we're still seeing the same kind of cycle going through. Today, I think a lot of people possibly were taking profit, and that's one of the factors why the markets would have gone down. Of course, the authorities have also been blaming short selling, malicious short selling, and they promised to crack down on that. But again, we have to wait and see if these measures are going to work, because honestly, there are some bigger issues in play.
And let's take a quick look next at some of the day's other business headlines. The British oil giant BP is reporting statutory losses of $5.8 billion as the Gulf of Mexico oil spill continues to weigh on its earnings. The company said it was writing off nearly another $10 billion over the settlement it reached with the US government. It's also been hurt by the lower price of oil. Capital expenditure is down $700 million in the second quarter compared to the same period last year. And New York's governor has unveiled plans to overhaul the city's LaGuardia Airport. The hub, one of the busiest in the United States, has often been criticised for being overcrowded and outdated. The plans would see the space for planes doubled, and the funding will be partly come from Delta Airlines.
That might make it a bit cheaper for us to fly.
One might hope, yeah.
Hopefully, Stephen. Finally, let's look at personal fitness trackers. They're all the rage, but it turns out one isn't tracking you as closely as you might have believed.
Yes, this is Nike's Fuel Band. The sportswear brand is to offer partial refunds to customers who bought the fitness band in the past 3.5 years. And this is to do with a long legal battle where it had been claimed the technology wasn't able to track steps or calories as accurately as Nike had claimed. Now, Nike and Apple, which worked together on the project, deny the allegations, but they've agreed to settle this case for false advertising by offering people $15 compensation or a $25 gift card. I still haven't gotten around to buying one of these.
I wondered, though, was the problem that it was adding steps and taking off calories
quite
for
like
people.
that.
Yeah, I kind of
exactly.
think I'd
You've
pay
done
extra
twice
for that.
as well as you have, yeah.
Okay, Stephen, thanks indeed. Stephen Carl there with the Business News.